All right. So you sent us a bunch of articles about XRP.
Yeah.
And we're going to take a deep dive into its future.
Right.
So we're going to be looking at some price predictions, its place in the wider crypto world, and what factors could make or break its success.
Exciting.
It is exciting.
Yeah.
You've got sources like FX Street and Crypto.news,
Right.
just throwing out price predictions, while others are concepting the Ripple versus SEC case and what that could mean for XRP down the line.
Big one.
It's a big one.
Yeah.
So buckle up, because this deep dive is going to be a wild ride.
I'm ready.
All right, good.
So what's really fascinating is like the sheer range of opinions and forecasts we're seeing here.
Yeah.
On one hand, you've got DeepSeek AI predicting XRP could hit somewhere between $3.50 and $5 by the end of 2025.
Okay.
They're banking on a few things.
Yeah.
A potential win for Ripple in the SEC case. More people using Ripple's on-demand liquidity platform. And a generally bullish crypto market.
That's pretty optimistic outlook.
It is.
But I mean, it makes sense considering those factors.
Yeah.
However, you also send us some analysis from FX Street that paints a more cautious picture.
Right.
They're flagging concerns about the Fed messing with interest rates and the possibility of XRP dropping below its ascending trend line support.
Big if.
It is a big if.
Yeah.
So which is it, boom or bust?
That's the $1 million question, right?
Right.
And then you throw in trcrypto.news pointing to a doji candle pattern.
Oh, yeah.
Which they think could signal a rally to $12.
Why?
After that recent crash.
Wow.
So remember, doji candle forms when the opening and closing prices of an asset are practically the same.
Okay.
Like the market's taking a pause.
Okay.
Unsure of which direction to go next.
I see.
So trcrypto.news interprets this as a build-up to a big move upwards.
Okay.
But, you know, it's just one indicator among many.
Yeah. It's definitely a lot to unpack.
It is.
Especially for someone who's like trying to make sense of it all.
Yeah.
To give you some perspective, XRP hit an all-time high of $3.40 back in January 2018.
Okay.
And an all-time low of 0.0686
oh my God.
in May 2014, according to CoinGecko.
Crazy.
Talk about volatility.
Yeah.
But let's tackle the elephant in the room.
Okay.
The Ripple versus SEC case.
All right.
What's the gist of it?
So basically, the SEC is claiming that Ripple Labs was selling XRP as an unregistered security.
All right.
Well, Ripple's firing back saying XRP works more like a digital currency, like Bitcoin or Ethereum.
So is it a security or currency?
That's the question.
That's a pretty big question for the courts to figure out.
Huge. So. Absolutely. And it gets even more complex when you consider recent developments.
Okay.
So Judge Orrick, who's overseeing the Kraken case, has stated that he doesn't view crypto assets as securities. Now, while this is a separate case, it hints at a potential shift in how the law interprets what a security actually is.
Interesting.
This could definitely have ripple effects.
Pun intended.
Pun intended, yeah.
On the Ripple case outcome.
Yeah, for sure.
It sounds like this could have huge implications.
It could.
For XRP.
Yeah.
What happens if Ripple wins this thing?
A Ripple victory would be massive for XRP's legitimacy.
Okay.
It would wipe away a lot of the regulatory uncertainty hanging over it, and that could send the price skyrocketing.
Really?
Maybe even beyond its previous all-time high.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
But what if they lose?
It could be devastating.
Oh, wow.
We're talking potential impact on its market value.
Okay.
Possible delistings from exchanges.
Oh.
And maybe even scared off institutional investors.
I see.
It's a high-stakes game, for sure.
It is.
And the outcome is far from certain.
It's a real nail-biter.
Yeah.
And then there's the fact that, like, there are internal disagreements within the SEC about their own litigation positions, according to James Murphy.
And then you've got the speculation swirling around whether the SEC will even continue with its appeal. Some believe the acting chair might be more crypto-friendly and could pull the plug.
I see.
While others point to former Chair Gensler's moves before leaving.
Right.
Like beefing up the enforcement division as signs that the appeal will likely go forward.
It's a real legal thriller unfolding.
Yeah, it is.
But before we get too lost in the courtroom drama,
sure,
let's talk about something else you sent in.
Okay.
Information on XRP ownership distribution.
Right.
It seems like Ripple Labs is holding a hefty chunk of XRP.
They are.
Something like 46 billion tokens.
Wow, that's a lot.
And co-founder Chris Larson has a big bag of them too.
He does.
Should this be a red flag?
Well, it's not unusual for a company to hold a big chunk of its own tokens.
Okay.
Especially in the early stages.
Right.
But it does raise concerns.
Concerns how? What's the potential downside of a few big players holding so much XRP?
Think of it this way.
Okay.
A small group has outsized control over the token's price.
Okay.
If they decide to sell a large portion of their holdings, it could trigger a price crash. Imagine a whale making a splash.
Yeah.
The ripple effects are felt throughout the entire pond.
Right.
And that's precisely what trcrypto.news is cautioning about.
Okay.
They're saying this concentrated ownership makes the market vulnerable to manipulation and could erode investor confidence.
You know, one article mentioned data from CoinCarp showing that the top 10 wallets hold a whopping 41% of all XRP.
Okay.
And the top 100 hold over 71%.
That's a lot.
That seems like a lot of power concentrated in just a few hands.
It's definitely something to consider.
Yeah.
This level of concentration underscores the potential risks of investing in XRP.
Right.
Especially if those major holders decide to cash out.
It's like having all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
And that basket is being held by a handful of people.
Okay, so we've got price predictions all over the map.
We do.
A legal battle that could go either way.
It could.
And ownership concerns.
Right.
Now let's zoom out and look at how all of this fits into the wider market.
Right.
What are the big things happening out there that could affect XRP?
Well, the Federal Reserve's decisions on interest rates are a major force influencing the entire crypto market, including XRP.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
The Fed's moves send ripples.
Pun intended again.
I know, right?
Throughout all financial markets, not just crypto.
Right, exactly.
But what about President Trump's executive order to create a working group on digital assets?
Yeah, there's a lot of buzz about a potential strategic Bitcoin reserve, or SBR.
Right.
Could that impact XRP too?
The creation of an SBR is a hot topic right now.
It is.
And its potential impact on the crypto market is huge. Yeah. A strategic Bitcoin reserve.
Yeah.
What exactly does that even mean?
Well, it's still being debated.
Okay.
But essentially it would involve the government holding a significant amount of Bitcoin.
Okay.
Similar to how countries hold gold reserves.
I see.
Now, John Deaton suggests the likelihood of this happening depends on what they mean by SBR.
Okay.
Is it simply holding on to confiscated Bitcoin?
Right.
Or is the government actively buying up Bitcoin?
Oh.
The former is more likely, he argues.
Okay.
Since it wouldn't need a congressional stamp of approval.
But wasn't there a Bitcoin Act proposed by Senator Loomis to set up a Bitcoin reserve?
Yes.
Yeah.
But that bill needs Congress to sign off on the government buying 1 million Bitcoin over 5 years.
Right.
Which is a much tougher sell.
Yeah.
So we've got contrasting views here.
We do.
Deaton's being cautious, while Anthony Scaramucci pointing to what he sees as political support.
Right.
Seems more optimistic.
It's interesting how opinions are split.
It is.
So are there any signs that an SBR might actually happen?
Well, there's been a recent surge in money flowing into Bitcoin ETFs.
Okay.
Which some see as a sign that the market's betting on the possibility of an SBR.
Really?
It's like investors are putting their money where their mouth is, hoping to ride the wave if an SBR becomes reality.
It definitely feels like we're standing at a crossroads.
Yeah.
A lot of factors are at play here, and it's hard to predict which way things will go.
It is.
But we're just getting started.
Awesome.
Let's take a break and come back to delve deeper into XRP's potential future in part 2.
Sounds good.
Okay.
It's a fascinating situation, isn't it?
It is.
The fate of XRP seems to be hanging in the balance.
Yeah.
With so many factors pulling it in different directions.
Exactly.
We've covered the legal battle, the price predictions, and the concentrated ownership issue.
Yeah.
But there's another layer we need to peel back.
What's that?
The role of AI in all of this.
Oh, yeah, AI.
Remember DeepSeek AI's bullish prediction for XRP?
Yes, their forecast was quite optimistic.
Yeah, it was.
But what's really interesting is how AI models like DeepSeek could shake up traditional market analysis.
It's crazy to think about.
It is.
We're talking about algorithms crunching massive amounts of data
to
identify patterns and make predictions.
Okay.
Could they actually become more accurate than human analysts.
That's a mind-blowing thought.
It is.
Could we see a future where investment decisions are driven by AI?
It's not outside the realm of possibility.
Yeah.
As these AI models get more sophisticated and have access to even more data, their ability to predict market movements could very well surpass human capabilities.
It's a trend worth keeping a close eye on.
Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It seems like we're living in the future already.
We are.
But let's bring it back to XRP for a sec. We've talked about a potential strategic Bitcoin reserve, or SBR, but could you imagine governments exploring the idea of strategic reserves for other digital assets?
Now, that's a thought-provoking question.
It is.
If an SBR proves to be successful, it wouldn't be surprising to see governments diversifying their strategic reserves to include other cryptocurrencies, particularly those with solid fundamentals and real-world applications.
So you're saying a strategic XRP reserve, while not on anyone's radar right now, might not be as crazy as it sounds.
Precisely, especially if Ripple wins its case against the SEC. And XRP gains more mainstream acceptance in the global financial system. It's a scenario worth pondering.
It is.
Especially given how quickly the crypto landscape is evolving and the increasing interest from governments around the world.
It's a lot to wrap your head around.
It is.
But speaking of wrapping things up, what are some key takeaways you think our listeners should keep in mind as they navigate the world of XRP and the broader crypto market?
Here's the thing. XRP is at a crossroads.
It is.
There are strong forces pushing it in different directions. On one hand, a win for Ripple in the SEC case, coupled with a positive regulatory environment and wider crypto adoption, could really launch XRP to new heights.
But there's also the flip side.
Exactly. A win for the SEC, regulatory crackdowns, or even a large-scale sell-off by those major XRP holders could severely damage XRP's future prospects.
So what's your advice?
Do your research.
To a listener who's clearly interested in XRP?
Yes, do your research. Don't just jump in because someone on social media is pumping it up. You need to understand the different factors at play. Weigh the potential risks and rewards, and then make an informed decision. Knowledge is power, especially in the world of crypto.
That's such solid advice. Okay. I think we've covered a ton of ground here. Any final thoughts before we wrap up our deep dive into XRP?
I think it's important to remember that XRP, like all cryptocurrencies, is part of a dynamic and ever-evolving ecosystem.
It is.
There are a lot of unknowns, and the future is far from certain. But that's also what makes it so exciting.
It is.
The possibilities are truly endless.
I love that perspective.
The crypto space is all about embracing the unknown.
It is. Before we sign off, I want to leave our listener with one final thought. We talked a lot about the potential impact of a strategic Bitcoin reserve. But what about the implications of XRP's unique ownership distribution?
Yes. That concentration of ownership is definitely a wild card. It could either amplify the positive effects of something like an SBR, or magnify the negative impacts of adverse market conditions.
Interesting.
It's a double-edged sword, and it's something investors need to consider carefully.
That's a great point.
The concentrated ownership adds another layer of complexity to an already complex situation.
And on that note, I think it's time to wrap up this deep dive into XRP's potential future.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you so much for joining me on this journey and for sharing your insights.
Happy to be here.
And to our listener, thank you for sending in your sources.
Yes, thank you.
We hope this deep dive has given you a better understanding of the factors shaping XRP's trajectory.
For sure.
Remember, this is just the beginning of your exploration. Keep learning, keep asking questions.
Absolutely.
And keep diving deep.
Keep diving deep.
Until next time, happy exploring.
Happy exploring.
It's amazing to think like how much we've unpacked.
I know.
Just from the articles you sent us, we've explored price predictions, legal battles, the influence of AI, and even the potential for a strategic XRP reserve.
It's a lot.
It's clear that XRP's future is intertwined with this complex web of factors.
And that's exactly what makes this such a captivating space to follow.
It is.
There's so many moving parts. And the landscape is constantly shifting.
It's like trying to solve a giant puzzle, except the pieces keep changing shape.
Right.
But that's also what makes it so exciting.
Exactly.
There's always something new to learn and discover.
Absolutely. That's what I love about deep dives like this.
Yeah.
We get to explore these complex issues and connect the dots in a way that hopefully makes it all a bit more understandable.
Speaking of connecting the dots, I think it's important to emphasize that this is just a snapshot in time.
It is.
What we've discussed today could change dramatically tomorrow.
That's the nature of the beast.
Right.
The crypto world is incredibly dynamic.
Yeah.
And it's impossible to predict the future with certainty.
Which is why it's so important to stay informed and keep learning.
Right.
Don't rely on just one source or one opinion.
Exactly.
Read widely, listen to different perspectives.
For sure.
And most importantly, think critically.
Couldn't agree more. Critical thinking is essential in this space.
It is.
Especially with so much information and misinformation floating around.
So to our listener, as you continue your journey into the world of XRP and the broader crypto market, remember this.
Okay.
Stay curious, stay skeptical, and stay engaged.
And never stop asking questions.
That's right.
The more you learn, the better equipped you'll be to navigate this exciting and ever-evolving landscape.
Well said. I think that's a perfect note to end on.
It is.
Thank you again for joining me on this deep dive into the fascinating world of XRP.
Of course, my pleasure.
It's been a real pleasure exploring these ideas with you.
Likewise, and to our listener, thank you for sending us these thought-provoking articles.
Yes, thank you.
We hope this deep dive has provided you with valuable insights.
Yeah.
And fueled your curiosity to learn even more.
Until next time, happy exploring.
Happy exploring.